wonderful job on the national anthem. Big thank you goes to Katie Noss and Natalie Hartnett. Knights, it was a 7-4 loss. The Lexington Nightfall also coming off of a loss to the Kenosha Knights. That was last night out in Kenosha, so a couple games in a row for the Nightfall. We'll see how the legs are holding up as the game progresses. We are underway here at USG Arena. Picked up by the Misfits in the neutral zone. Moving forward here is Vilcek over the line. He'll backhand it right through the slot and out the other side. Going after that is Bo Borowski, RMU and Roosevelt University alum. He and I actually crossed paths over there. I was a coach at one point at RMU. This one bounces in on net, and Borgard gets the first stoppage of the game with 19:20 exactly left to play in period number one. We want to thank all of you for tuning in to the game tonight here on the Misfits Network. Long wrist shot from the blue line. That's blockered out of there by Borgard. Picked up and behind by the Misfits. Carried by McAloon. He'll get some separation, moving across to his partner Edwards. He'll chip it out to center ice. There's Captain Nick Ustaski. He'll dump this one in, wrapped around the wall, bounces over a couple of sticks and all the way back, and Ustaski has to go back and grab it. On him there is Jeremy Austin. Clearing attempt held in at the blue line. Eric Woodward, his shot gobbled up and held by Borgard. He had some traffic out in front, and Jeremy Austin was able to pin that to his side just long enough to pull in a whistle. .18:44 to go here in the period. Draw going to the left-hand side of Borgard. Off the face-off, turnaround shot by Declan Keegan, sails wide of the net. Cleared out of there by the Misfits and thrown right back in once more by Matt Pakala. Pakala, one of many guys here on the Lexington Nightfalls. We get an offsides call. But one of many Lexington Nightfall players who played at the University of Kentucky at some point. There are 7 guys in the lineup today who have that on the record. There's a good shot right off the faceoff by Brock Elvers. That gets gobbled up and held by Jacob Shaw. Elvers, one of the guys certainly to look out for on this Misfits roster. Played over at Syracuse University, had 65 points in 113 games played with the ACHA Division I team out there. There's a long slap shot, gets wrapped around the wall and out to center ice. Picked up by Pakala. Andrew Vanek forcing him back in behind his own net. Clearing attempt goes awry, deflects off Nick Baston. And a couple number 8s there in Baston and Menegado. Chase after it. Picked up again by Brock Elvers in the corner. He'll go D to D, and it's shipped up ahead. Galloping after here is Borowski. Couldn't get it out on the first drive, but gets a little bit of help from the second wave. And that's Brock Elvers trying to drop that one off. Rolled off the end of his stick. Picked up by the Nightfall. Mentioned the Nightfall played last night and they lost to the Kenosha Knights. There's a huge hit just inside the Nightfall zone. That was a hit from Nick Bastion as he let Aiden Witt have the business. Nightfall losing that game 5-3 to the Kenosha Knights. Here's a pass out in front, just rolling off the end of the twig of Shell. Carried in behind by Sam Barnett. Barnett's very used to the Chicago area, played USPHL hockey with the Chicago Crush a couple of years ago. Had the pleasure of doing a couple of his games back in the 24-25 season, I believe it was. 23-24, pardon me. Then he went over to Finland to play for a couple of years. So Sam Barnett's doing very well for himself. Finds himself back in the US of A. He's got it again in the corner. We'll throw it in behind. Nightfalls didn't like the options on that far side, so they go back in behind the net. Now cough it up. Good pressure by Alex Schell. Now carried on in the corner. Four-man scrum ensues, trying to dig that one out for the Nightfall was D'Amico. Long snapshot from the blue line. Waghorn let that one go. That was kicked aside. Now it follows up to Vilcek. To Waghorn up top. His wrist shot deflects off the stick of D'Amico and in behind the net. Sean McGowan will bank it back up ahead. 3 for $1. Waghorn winds and fires. Good save on the redirect. That one tipped off Vilcek on the way through. And it was knocked down by Shaw. Send right back ahead into the Misfit zone. Borowski able to wheel and deal from in behind his own net. Throw it out through the neutral zone. Gets stopped up right in front of the steel logo at center ice. That brand new Chicago steel logo. Taken by Scott Vargas. That pass deflects and it's carried on by Jeremy Austin. Austin for the Nightfall. He gets crunched in behind the net, but it's carried on by Eric Woodward. He'll put it out to the blue line. Mahler walking in the middle of the ice. He'll fire, looking for a redirect, and he got one actually off the Misfits in front. Scott Vargas trying to block that shot, accidentally redirected it. Thankfully for Chicago, it rolled wide. Rolls up the wall and out. Race for the puck here. Scott Vargas getting to it first. A drag move around the check of Eric Molitor. He'd seen that a time or two before. Molitor will sling it out to center ice. Now Nick Ustaski. Long cross ice pass intercepted there by Molitor. He was stick lifted just in the neutral zone. Now the Misfits will control once more. And quite a while without a whistle here as we go back and forth. Caden Edwards below the goal line. Pass out in front, right from the side that he had vacated, but nobody home there for Chicago and enough time to throw it on net. Matt Menegado will dump this one in. Menegado, the only Canadian on this Lexington team. He's from Guelph, Ontario. Spinorama move here by Mikaloon. Gets the shot on net. The save made. And the rebound laid loose in the slot for a brief moment. Gobbled up by Shaw. He'll get a whistle. We have 14:04 left to play here. Period number one. A scoreless start, but a good back and forth early in this hockey game. Shot right off the faceoff there by Tony Klanowski. That was blockered aside, comes out to the blue line. A wrister by Waghorn, who's been letting it rip from the blue line early in this game. We're only 6 minutes in, and he's been letting it fly. Waghorn takes a huge hit along the wall there from Kaysen. Still the Misfits control. Wrist shot from in tight by Klanowski. Deflects off a skate and wide. Clearing attempt, Klanowski there to intercept. 1-on-4 in the zone. Klanowski now below the goal line. Will turn around, try to throw this out in front. Got blocked first try. Second try goes to Alvarez. His turnaround shot stopped there by Shaw. Into the corner it goes. Vanek out to the point. Borowski, he'll go D-to-D. Long snapshot there by Baston. Gets sticked away and cleared out by the Nightfall. This one will go all the way down, and we get an icing call. 13:06 left to play here in period number one. Tonight's game is sponsored by Endear Health, making healthcare simpler, smarter, and more connected. Learn more at endearhealth.com. That's Endear Health. Better care starts here. To the blue line, Bastion off the face-off win. Shot deflected off a couple of sticks. Didn't end up getting to the cage. Now Shell, the turnaround shot that shouldered aside by Shaw. And he'll knock that one out of play. That was a rising shot. Shaw able to kind of leap up with his shoulders and get a piece of that to knock it out. At 12:55 left to go here in the first. Jacob Shaw, not the largest goaltender in the world in terms of size. He's 6'1" and 150 pounds it's rating, and He looks at in net. Looks like a bit of a string bean, but standing tall early in this hockey game. So there's another stop on a shot from the blue line, and on the battle along the wall, deflected out of play. So we'll get another whistle just inside the Nightfall zone. On the draw, there's a shot off the goalpost. Quick shot there from Mitchell Schell. Rang it right off the iron. Pulled out of there by Lexington. Pulled up by Gabe D'Amico. Rich shot, he scored! What a shot that was by Gabe D'Amico coming in over the line. He let it rip. Just over the glove hand of Jim Borgard. And the Nightfall open up the scoring. It's 1-0.
Lexington Nightfall, scored by number 44, D'Amico, assist Sam Barnett.
Barnett's getting the assist on that.
Scored by number 44, D'Amico, assisted by Sam Barnett, number 44.
Lexington opening up the scoring just about 8 minutes into this hockey game. Even though the Misfits have had most of control of the play. Here's a turnover, walking in. McGowan couldn't get the shot off. He was tied up from in behind. Had the goaltender down and out, but couldn't beat him. Good back check there from Dave Mills. Back it goes to McGowan in the corner. Picked up by Vilcek. McGowan in behind. Looks at his options. Will try now to the opposite side, spinning away from the check to Witt. Pass out in front there, intercepted by the goal scorer, D'Amico. Now after a Caden Edwards in behind his own net. Good spin move around one check. Now a second rolled off the end of his stick, but was able to forward it up ahead as he was nearly off balance, off kilter. And he gets his puck in deep. A couple players go barreling into the corner. Jason Mickaloon there for the Misfits. Vargas now. Down low for Mickaloon. His pass out in front didn't connect. Wrapped around the wall and out to center. John Waghorn will come up the wall with it. One deflects away from Mickaloon and down. Nightfall will control. Wrapped up the wall. Jeremy Austin there to grab it. St. Clair Shores, Michigan native, leaves it there for Eric Mahler. He'll spin away from a couple of checks. Now Bartucci will send it out to center where it gets redirected into the Misfit zone. Wrapped around the near side, Eric Woodward. Had it for a moment, then it gets taken away from him and chipped out to center ice where it's chased down by Jeremy Austin. He has Mickaloon all over him, takes it away, leaving it for Vargas. Vargas will hold, pass out in front, deflects off his skate, lays in the crease. Cleared out of there by the Nightfall, but not out. Waghorn coming down low, Delvantes. Has that skip off of his stick on the return feed. Goes to the corner where Pakala will control. Eric Woodward spinning away from a check. Will throw it up the wall. Picked up here by Menegado. He'll go high up off the glass and all the way down. This one will have the legs for an icing call, and that's what we'll get with 9:53 left to play here in period number one. Nightfall lead it 1-0 on a goal from Gabe D'Amico. D'Amico from St. Charles, Illinois. He's one of those guys who played at University of Kentucky. He absolutely lit it up out there. 72 goals in 107 games played. There's a snapshot from the blue line by Edwards. That's stopped and held. D'Amico not unfamiliar with the goal-scoring touch. Off the face-off, pushed up ahead. Good stick, though, by Sandler. Pardon me. That's Carson. Or, Tony Klanowski to knock that one away. Back in the neutral zone, Andrew Vanek leaves this one up ahead for Klanowski. That pass up ahead intended to hit Alvers going right to the goal. Was unable to get it to him, but Alvers gets it once more. His shot was blocked on the way through. Rebound, with the goaltender down and out. Shaw was on his backside. Andrew Vanek let one go, didn't get any elevation on it. And it goes right into the keister of Jacob Shaw. Misfits that close to tying this one up. Clearing attempt to flex off a stick. Alvers unable to control. Thrown towards the net. Bump pass back to Alvers. Was out of his reach. It found Vanek down low, and he really couldn't find a way to turn around and throw that puck on net. And the pass was just a little bit out of the reach of Brock Alvers. Sent around the far wall. Alvers has it roll off the end of his stick. Comes right back to pick it up, though. He'll start coming out to the neutral zone, hit the red line, and dump it in. Both teams finishing up some line changes. Ryan Sandler will move this one out to center. Gabe D'Amico had it deflect off his shin pads and out to the neutral zone. We get ourselves an offsides call here. 8:31 left to go in the first period. 1-0 in favor of the Nightfall. Misfits controlling the neutral zone, dumped in by Alex Schell. He had a man go in just a touch offside. It got gummed up there at the blue line, so all they could do was dump it in and tag back up. Pass intercepted by Borowski. Thrown up through center ice, redirected there by Lombardi into the Nightfall zone. Chased after by Witt. He'll come up the wall. Chipped up to Sam Barnett. His bank pass comes right back to him. But cleared away by Waghorn. Now it's Mitchell Schell. He'll turn and fire one off the tip of the glove of Shaw. Will wrap around and get pushed out to center ice. Good back check, though, by the Misfits. Nearly turned over right in the slot. Pushed up to Lombardi. Dave Lombardi with some wheels over the line. Lombardi dipping the shoulder. Backhand pass towards the slot. Nobody home. There's a follow-up from Schell, hacking at it. First stop, second stop made. The rebound still lays loose. Shaw unable to cover. Cleared out to the wall where D'Amico will send it to his defensive partner, and it gets chipped out to center ice. Nick Ustaski has a man going to net. There's a wrist shot. Rebound off the goalpost. Tommy Vilcek picked up that rebound, threw it off the iron in behind Shaw, who thought it beat him. It did, just never went in the net. Misfits getting closer and closer by the moment. Vilcek skip this one around. Lanera finds McGowan's stick. He'll redirect it in deep. Couple bodies collide in the corner. Hit there from Caden Edwards. So it gets floated through center ice. Comes right back to Jason McAloon, 1-on-5 as his teammates were going off on a line change. Eric Woodward will move it up ahead to Jeremy Austin. Tony Woodward, his long snapper, sails wide of the goal. D to D, Nick Bastion. Around one check, has some space to motor through the neutral zone. He does exactly that. Baston will hold it in behind the net. Has a man open in front, unable to get it to him though. Will cycle it down to Vilcek. There's the shot, redirected on net. Save made there by Shaw. Pardon me, that wasn't Vilcek. That was Delvantes. Now Baston at the point. His shot misses on the blocker side. Picked up now, McAloon to the high slot. Will hold on to it, walk it to the far circle, cross ice pass, redirected, good stop there by Shaw. Redirect out in front there from Vargas. Now another try goes right through the slot, not the other side, open up, they score! Found Nick Bastion out at the blue line. He fires it into a wide open cage as Jacob Shaw was well out of the net, couldn't find his crease. And finally the Misfits able to crack the code. We're tied at 1. Baston getting the Misfits on the board with an assist from Scott Vargas. So back up to even Steven here with 5.5 underneath. 5.5 remaining in period number 1. And it really has been pretty much all Misfits in this hockey game. Just now been able to crack the code. That is Jacob Shaw. We get a whistle stopping play and offsides just inside the Lexington zone. The first 5-minute mark. Tonight's game is also sponsored by Cody's Public House Chicago, which is a dog-friendly hangout with cold drinks and home of our post-game crew. Stick around after hockey, softball, and rec league sports for good times and keep the night going at Cody's. Here come the Nightfall over the line. That's Menegado. He couldn't get the shot off. This one gets deflected out to the neutral zone. Declan Keegan wearing number 88. Bit of a sacred number out here in Chicago. Dumps that one in. Pulled right back out by Brock Alvers, 1-on-3. Alvers able to get to the goal. The backhand pass out in front. They had Andrew Vanek in the area, but not nearly close enough to get any stick on that. Cleared out by Lexington. Picked up again by Vanek. Pass out in front, comes right back to him. Tried to bat that one in baseball style. Unable to do so. Backhand pass out to the blue line. Nearly intercepted there, but held in by the Misfits at the point. Flipped cross ice, Baston. That pass was intended to hit Andrew Vanek, but intercepted and cleared by Lexington. Taken by Caden Edwards of the Misfits. He'll hit Shell, back to Edwards at the blue line. He'll wrap it hard around to the opposite side. Carried on, Mitchell Shell. His drag move to the middle of the ice. Picked up and taken away by Sam Barnett's 3-on-2. D'Amico back to Barnett's. He'll tip it over for Lanera. Good blocker save there by Borgard. Borgard not been tested all that much in this first period, but called on there to make a very important save late in the period. Barnett's able to dangle away from a couple checks, moves it forward for D'Amico. He'll hang and rip one. Ustaski had a stick on that, knocking it wide. Shot from the boards to Flex. Back in behind, it's Barnett's. Pass out in front, had Woodward driving in from the blue line. Couldn't get it to him. Turnover. Shell will come out to center ice. He's got a 3-on-2 forming. Shell has Lombardi going to the net. Drops it off to Alex Shell, walking in. Couldn't get the shot off. Now Alex Shell, the shot. That one goes up off the glass. Now down low, Nick Ustaski. Looking out in front for Alex Shell. Couldn't get it to him. He was well covered there by Eric Woodward. Now Sandler will find an exit strategy out to the neutral zone. Woodward, Tony Woodward that is, his wrister deflects off a stick and well out of play. With 2:31 left to play here in period number 1. We are tied at 1. One's all over the board. Face off to the left-hand side. Borgard. They battle for it along the corner boards. A 5-man scrum. Finally pulled out of there by the Misfits, Bo Borowski. Sean McGowan hits the red line, dumps it in. Chasing after is Vilcek. He'll throw a good hit on Dave Mills, who wraps it around the wall. Couldn't get it out the first try. Second opportunity. He'll bank this one ahead perfectly onto the stick of Jeremy Austin. He's in. Austin couldn't get the shot on net. Great back check there by Borowski, but it's going to be a penalty. And it's going to go to Borowski with 1:58 left to play here in the period. Borowski will sit down for 2 minutes. That's a penalty that certainly needed to be taken. That was a breakaway pretty much from the blue line in. right, so the penalty kill going to work for the very first time today. Up at the blue line it goes. Molitor coming down low to Bartucci. Pass out in front, deflected off the glove of Borgard. That pass found a way to Eric Woodward right in the slot, and Borgard got a tip of it with a glove. Now another shot from Eric Woodward that Borgard blockers away, wrapped around the wall. Bartucci holds it in. Sent it down the wall to Eric Woodward. He'll walk in, can't find a lane to the net, goes cross ice. There's D'Amico, pass out front, big save by Borgard, gets back to his feet, makes a second stop. Clearing attempt, gets swatted out to center ice. Huge stops there from Jim Borgard in net. D'Amico through the neutral zone, around a check, will pull up at the circles. Will wheel and deal up top, holding onto it, firing. Deflected off Lombardi's shin pad and in behind. Chipped up ahead and now pushed out to center ice. Here's a breakaway. Caden Edwards from the red line in. Edwards shooting one, goes up off the glass. Didn't have time to settle that puck down. Now a 2-on-1, maybe a 3-on-1 for Lexington. Coming in, it's Barnett's off the crossbar. Couldn't sneak it in underneath the bars. Sam Barnett's let that one go. So chances galore on either side. Eric Molitor will pull up along the wall, couldn't get the pass across. Deflects to Lanera. He's got it at the far circle with 10 seconds left. Goes across to Barnett, back up top, Hakala. Sam Barnett, cross ice, deflected off a couple of sticks, clearing attempt held in. Hakala with 1 second left, couldn't get the shot off. And the period comes to a close. So we stay tied at 1. Through 20 minutes of play, and there will be period of play. We are tied at 1 through 20 minutes. We are now back at full strength as Borowski now out of the box. Here comes Lexington over the line. Pulling up there is D'Amico, the goal scorer in the first period. He opened everything up with a rip from just about the tops of the circles that made it 1-0. Here's a chance for McAloon. Big save. Oh, Jacob Shaw able to rip that one out of the air with his glove. Huge stop on Jason McAloon to keep this one a 1-1 score. Off the draw, wrist shot from Devlantes. Gets patted aside. Eric Molitor spinning away from a check. Wrapped around the glass, knocked down there by Devlantes, trying to go up to the high slot for Vargas. That pass was read and intercepted and sent up ahead by Lexington. Barnett's trying to settle that one down, unable to. Borowski clears it up ahead. Knocked down out of midair, breakaway again for McAloon. Third time's a charm, couldn't get the shot away. Tried a fake shot to get the goaltender down and out, but a great job by Jacob Shaw to stick with him the whole time, and it was knocked down and held. We stay tied 1-1. 2 breakaways for Jason McAloon. A minute and 2 seconds into this second period. There's a chance off the face-off win by Klonowski that gets shanked wide of the net. Picked up by Jeremy Austin. He'll throw it through the neutral zone into the waiting hands of Caden Edwards. Good job there by Edwards to dance around a couple of checks and get out to the neutral zone. Pass in the middle of the ice. Vanek had knocked off his stick. Now they score! A shot from Klonowski from the goal line. A bit of a broken play. Klonowski just firing it towards the net. Was able to beat the goaltender in tight. And Tony Klonowski has given the Misfits their first lead of the game. It's 2-1.
Chicago Misfits goal.
Klanowski from Vanek and Edwards as this one gets thrown in on goal, gobbled up by Shaw. Klanowski getting the goal with assist from Andrew Vanek, the assistant captain, as well as Caden Edwards. And the Misfits have their first lead of the hockey game. Like I said, a bit of a broken play. It was knocked off of Vanek's stick and went to the wall. Klanowski was there and just throwing the puck on net. You hear it all the time. Throw the puck on net. Good things happen, and right there you see it again. This time it's Lexington throwing the puck towards the net, deflecting off of a stick. Hits the inside of the near post behind Borgard and in. And just like that, Lexington has tied it up at 2 exactly 30 seconds later.
Lexington Nightfall. 71 total goals from Eric Woodward, number 91, and Jeremy Hoff, number 5. Lexington Nightfall. 71 total from.
Well, it's going to be Woodward's goal from Jeremy Austin. So after having some trouble trying to find some goals here early on in the hockey game, we've got 2 of them, 2 minutes into this second period, 1 on either side. Inside the Lexington zone, shot from the wall, that one's gloved by Shaw. He'll hang on to it. Lombardi there floating that one on goal. Didn't get a lot on it, Lombardi. Had that one roll in on net. Lombardi had a very good career over at the University of Delaware. 34 goals and 91 assists. He was at University of Delaware for 4 straight years. Block shot. It's sent up ahead for Lanera. Lanera on the backhand. Couldn't get the pass across. Good job by Waghorn to slide on his belly, take that passing lane away. Number 17 on red. Best number 17 in blue. Clearing attempt escapes out to the neutral zone. Picked up there by D'Amico. Pass intercepted. Sean McGowan back the other way. McGowan the shot. Shouldered aside. The puck laid in the crease for a moment. Driving in the net. Vilcek couldn't throw it on goal. Picked up by D'Amico. Cross ice bounces to Barnett. Barnett's trying to kick to the stick. He does. Great save by Borgard. Sam Barnett's getting fancy inside the Misfit end. Goes from the inside of the skate to the stick and drives to that far post. But Jim Borgard, fully outstretched, got a toe on it. And will grab a whistle. On the face-off, Misfits flip it high and out to center ice. Chase down here. Devlantes looking in front. They score! Found Scott Vargas right in the slot on the second attempt. The first shot was blocked. Second one found a way through. Scott Vargas picks up the goal. It's 3-2 Misfits. So Vargas from Devlantes. This one skips out of play. Scott Vargas. I know we've got somebody tuning in from Puerto Rico. Scott Bernstein, thank you for tuning in. Scott Vargas was the captain of Team Puerto Rico back in the 2022-23 season. Turnover here in the high slot inside the Misfit end. Eric Woodward unable to pull the trigger though. That was nearly a 2-on-0 from the tops of the circles in. Picked up by Devlantes. He'll move it forward. Mikaloon in. He's denied again by Shaw. Boy, Mikaloon has been robbed by Jacob Shaw 3 times in this period alone. Taken here by Vargas. He'll go across for Mikaloon. Couldn't get any wood on it. Pass out to the blue line. Nobody home there for the Misfits. And Edwards will have to double back into his own zone. Funny hop off the lip of the boards. Goes well into the air and deep into Nightfall territory where Sandler will control. Losing an edge was Eric Woodward in behind his own net. Was able to regain his balance and pick up that puck. He'll send it up ahead for Bartucci. He gets it in deep. Nick Bastion around the wall. Ustaski. His cross-ice pass for Alvers was at his feet. Turned over to Keegan. Keegan couldn't get the shot through. Nice job there by Nick Bastion to get his foot in the way. Pass out to the slot. Taken away there by Alvers. And he'll start the rush 3-on-3. Alvers around a check. Will pull up in the corner, turn around, pass deflecting. They score! Found it, sway to Andrew Vanek after it deflected off of a couple of sticks. It hit Bastion, found Vanek. He puts it right in between the legs of Jacob Shaw. 4-2 in favor of the Misfits. It's going to be Vanek from Klonowski and Edwards. So the Misfits have now doubled their lead to 4-2 as look out on the bench. That one gets redirected into the Misfits bench. Everybody looking like they're all right there. Take a look at the Misfits bench and you see how stacked it is over there, and then compare it to what you see over on the Lexington bench. Rather depleted over there on the visitor side. This one deflects on net. Dave Mills for the Nightfall trying to carry this one out of his own zone. Accidentally gets it knocked off his stick right in front of his own net. Luckily for him, Jacob Shaw was awake and grabs hold of that. On the face-off, Nightfall will clear it up the wall. Borowski keeps it in. His bouncing shot knocked away there by Shaw. Picked up by Lombardi, trying to drag and drive his way toward the net. Couldn't get it through. Comes back to him on the far wall. He'll send it in behind. Alex Schell. Turnaround shot there from Mitchell Schell. That gets knocked away by the right pad of Shaw. Comes all the way back out to the blue line. Bastion shot blocked. And sent all the way into Misfit territory. First one there, Borowski to grab it. He'll spin away from the oncoming check of Cooper Kaysen. Now pushed forward. Pass out in front. Lombardi, big save there by Shaw. Lombardi let that one rip from the tops of the circle. Shaw got a good shoulder on it. And then Lombardi falling into the net knocks it off its pegs. Tonight's game is brought to you by Grunna Power Skating. Elite high-performance skating development focused on speed, power, and edge control. Find the speed to succeed with Grunna Power Skating. Train like the pros. Misfits cause a turnover inside the offensive zone. Alex Schell on the back check. Takes it away, tried to lift that one underneath the crossbar, but had a stick check at the very last second. That would have been a sweet tally if it had gone through. Here comes an opportunity back the other way. Barnett, big save by Borgard. The return feed to Sam Barnett from D'Amico. Caught Barnett on the backhand. He had to try to spin his body back around and throw a forehand shot on net. That allowed Borgard some extra time to dive over and get that one with the inside of his arm and cover it long enough for a whistle. Well, if it hasn't become clear already for the Misfits, got to keep an extra eye on both Barnitz and D'Amico, as this line with them and Giovanni Lanera has generated most of the offense, if not all the offense, for Lexington in this game. Around to check D'Amico, cutting to the middle of the ice. D'Amico dropping it to the middle. There's Lanera, the backhander on net. He was knocked down by LJ Semeka. Now clearing attempt outs out to the blue line. Wrist shot was whipped on by Sandler. Gets it right back across. Lanera's shot, one-timer, was knocked aside by Borgard. Back up top it goes. Barnitz. His wrister knocked away by Borgard with the stick. Cleared out of there by McGowan, and down. This one will be an icing call on the Misfits. Sean McGowan clearing that puck out, took a huge hit as he had done so. You take a hit to make a play. Sean McGowan, a product of Warren Township High School. Off the draw, Tony Woodward couldn't get that shot through, and it comes back the other way for Edwards. Edwards, nice job to drag through the legs and in behind the net. Edwards pulling it out the opposite side, will now send it in behind. Hot bouncing puck there, finds its way to Vargas. And behind, Devlantes. Spinning away from a check, has Vargas in front, had the pass intended for him, but it deflected off of a leg and comes all the way down. Borgard having to play this. He'll move it around the wall. Ustaski can't clear it the first time. Second try, moved up ahead. Vargas pulls up at the blue line. Cross ice, Borowski plays it off the bounce, a shot, he scores! Had just enough steam on that, Bo Borowski. As he rides the horse out to the neutral zone, had just enough steam on that shot to get it through the legs of Jacob Shaw, and it's 5-2 Misfits. Ustaski getting the secondary assist on that Borowski goal. I didn't catch the primary assist. I'll get that when I can. But the Misfits now leading by 3. This chip pass up ahead. Tailed down by Mickaloon. Nearly lost an edge in the corner. Picked up by Devlantes. His bouncing pass out to the blue line. Baston there. The shot redirected wide of the goal. Ustaski in front of the net there. Got a stick on it. Tipped it just wide. There's Nick Baston. From in behind his own net, will throw it up the wall. Picked up in the neutral zone by Mickaloon. Mickaloon a bit snake-bitten in this hockey game. We'll see if he's able to find a way to dent the net. There's a wraparound from in behind. He was denied there by Shaw. Settled down by Devlantes. He'll walk to the middle of the ice, that cross-ice feed. He had Mickaloon teed up and ready to go. But it's deflected away from him, picked up now by Scott Vargas. 3-on-2 over the line. Vargas holding, dragged, gets a man down. A chip shot on net, knocked away by Shaw and cleared. All the way down, Borgard coming out, decides he will just cover this puck up and hold on to it. 5-2 in favor of the Chicago Misfits with 9:34 to go here in the second period. Tonight's game also brought to you by the Barn Creative, the team behind our logos, jerseys, and all of the merch. Creative design that brings the brand to life. Check them out at thebarncreative.org. Off the face-off, first shot was blocked. Second try falling down. Lanera sends it just wide on the glove side. Picked back up by the Misfits. Andrew Vanek galloping through center. Vanek will chip it in, get it in behind the net. Bounces off of a hit, finds its way to the middle. Klenowski, the pass. Big save there by Shaw. Down and out, was still able to kick that right pad out and deny Brock Albers in tight. Picked up Brock Albers here in the neutral zone. Albers zigzagging around a check. Lost it in some skates, taken by Vanek. He'll throw it around the wall, nobody home for the Misfits. Picked up by Mills. He'll throw it all the way down. This one escapes and goes down. Icing waved off. Now the Misfits, Vanek looked like he was going for a line change there, and the puck just happened to find him. He's got it at the blue line, throws it into the corner. Taken Albers, his cross-ice pass blocked. And Gabe D'Amico starts the rush back the other way, leaving it for Barnitz. Back to D'Amico. Is he going to go to Barnitz again? You bet he is. That pass across, though, is read by Borowski. Got the stick in the way. And cleared out to center ice. Approaching 8 minutes left to play here in period number 2. 5-2 is the score in favor of the Misfits. A 4-goal period for Chicago has given them this 5-2 lead. Taken by Shell. He enters the zone, puts it in behind the net. Dave Lombardi out to the blue line. Borowski's got one of the goals today. Gets the pass back. Bo Borowski walking to the middle, firing. Tipped on goal. That one hit Lombardi on the way through, and he tipped it just wide. Picked up by Alex Shell. Looking in behind to Mitchell Shell. Up the wall, Borowski back to the corner. Mitchell. Had a man sneaking in, and Ustaski couldn't get the puck to him, though. Eric Molitor from in behind his own net, putting it up the wall. Taken away, though, by Lombardi. He sealed off that far wall and now drags it in behind the wraparound. Goes right through the crease. Cleared out by the Nightfall and sent out to center ice. Mentioned earlier in the broadcast, if you're just tuning in, we get a 2-on-1. Eric Woodward, the shot deflects off the stick and in behind. The Nightfall coming off of a loss 5-3 last night to the Kenosha Knights up in Kenosha. So they've had some travel from Kenosha. Not very far travel, but still back-to-back games. And it is showing right now for the Lexington Nightfall. There's a little bit of slowness that has entered their game. It was a very even first period. You could see the tiredness starting to creep in here for the Nightfall. The shot gets gobbled up by Shaw. He'll hang on to it. 6:29 to go here in the second period. 5-2 in favor of the Misfits. Andy Petzinger here behind the mic. Happy to bring you a broadcast tonight. And a whole lot of fun here. Just over halfway through the hockey games. Here's a turnaround shot from the circles by LJ Semeka. We're going to get another penalty here on the Misfits. This one's going to be a tripping call. I believe Semeka is going to be the guilty party. No, it's going to end up going to Vilcek. A hooking call, pardon me. So Vilcek goes to the box with 6:12 to play. Another hooking call. It's our second one of the evening. So Lexington going back to work. Their second power play of the game. They're 0 for 1 so far. Had a couple really nice opportunities in the first period, though. Unable to capture a goal. This one's ripped on net blocker to side by Borgard. Out to the blue line it goes. Pakula. Cross now for D'Amico. His wrister blocked. Comes right back out to Pakula at the blue line. He'll go across. Bartucci. Down low, gets it right back. Bartucci walking to the middle, fires. Good block by Dave Lombardi, getting a leg right in the lane. Clearing attempt broke the stick of Edwards, so just about a 5-on-3, 5-on-3.5 basically, as there's a huge stop. And a big cover by Borgard. That one ripped from the tops of the circles. Borgard not only able to stop that, but get a whistle stopping play so his teammates can get a line change and get 4 working sticks out on the ice. 5:19 to go in the period, 1:07 left to go on the penalty. Face off to the left of Borgard. On the draw, gets thrown up to the blue line. Devlantes there will dump it down. Took a hack as he done so. Looking for a penalty, he's not gonna get one. Good work here by Mikkeloon in below the goal line. Creating some havoc and taking some time off the clock. Now this pass intercepted and a 2-on-1 for the Misfits with Devlantes going across. Oh, and a one-timer. Mikkeloon whiffed on it. He had a wide open cage. Now up ahead, Mikkeloon. 1-on-3. Will pull up. Looks at his options. Devlantes going down low, trying to open up for him, but too many Nightfall players around to make that one work, so Misfits will dump this one in. First one after it is Ryan Devlantes. Both teams now back at full strength. It's just out of the box. Here's Vilcek. Now a wrist shot. Good save there in tight from Shaw. He'll hang on to it with exactly 4 minutes left to go here in the second period. Big thank you to the Chicago Blackhawks Ice Center, presented by Fifth Third, for hosting tonight's game. It's a world-class facility and home to incredible hockey in Chicago. We appreciate the hospitality. One sent up the wall. Alvarez out to the blue line, long wrister. Sticked away there by Shaw. Vanek looking in front. The pass got to the stick of Klenowski, driving right down the middle of the ice, but couldn't settle it down long enough to throw a shot on goal. Tony Woodward leaving it off to the middle for Eric Woodward. His shot goes wide of the net, gets it right back on the opposite side, tried to jam it home there. Diving across was Borgard, might have gotten a skate on it. Cleared out by the Misfits. Turned over to the Misfits in the neutral zone. Alvarez had his stick lifted from in behind by Cooper Kaysen, who was unable to clear it out. Comes right back to Brock Alvarez. He spins and puts it in behind the net. Andrew Vanek chasing after it. Taken away by Lexington. Cleared the length of the ice. We get another whistle stopping play. And an offensive zone draw coming here to the Chicago Misfits with 2:49 on the clock. And a pretty dominating period from start to finish for the Misfits here in the second period after having a little trouble getting on the scoreboard early. Get another penalty here to the Misfits. Got a slashing call now. This time going to Sean McGowan. He'll sit down 2 minutes for slashing. So 2:42 to go. Back to the penalty kill. Go the Misfits. Picked up and cleared the length of the ice and down. Coming out to play that was Shaw, as he saw Lombardi busting down the middle of the ice. He'll throw it to the middle now. Edwards, a shot off of the shoulder of Shaw. Might have caught a little bit of the crossbar as well and deflected out of play with 2:18 to play here in the second period. And a $137 to go on the penalty kill. Off the draw, Lombardi pushed that one forward and was hoping to get a shot on net. He was knocked to the ice before he could do so. Now Bartucci on the far side. Will rag it in behind the net, pull up. Look at his options, comes up top. There's Eric Woodward. Across the one-time shot there from Eric Molitor, a headhunter. Catches the glass in behind. Tony Woodward finding D'Amico on the wall. Back up top, Eric Molitor, D'Amico across, Woodward, the shot save made, rebound. Pounded just wide there by Bartucci in the slot. Clearing attempt, held in. D'Amico plays catch up top with Molitor. Now Tony Woodward, his snapper, deflects up and out of play. Best pressure on the power play since the first period there for the Nighthawks, or the Nightfall, pardon me. But unfortunately for them, unable to find a way to dent the back of the net here on the power play.
Are you ready?
Off the draw, controlled by the Nightfall, redirected on net. That was a shot pass from the blue line. Barnett's was sniffing around in the slot there, got a tip on it, but sent it just wide. Back to Bartucci at the point. His wrists are blocked by Borowski, and he'll clear it down into Nightfall territory. Turned over, Mitchell Shell puts it in behind. LJ Semeka, the wraparound, never made it on goal. Picked up by Lexington. They'll hold on to it in the neutral zone. That pass caught a man in between. We hit the final minute of the second period. Clearing attempt held in at the blue line by Edwards. He'll put it in deep. McAloon, both teams at full strength. McAloon walking the line, spins, drops it off up top. There's Caden Edwards. He'll tomahawk around, hold it in behind. Now he'll come out the opposite side. Back to McAloon. Backdoor pass, sliding across there. Jacob Shaw nearly lost his net, knocked the net off its pegs. And as Shell was trying to settle that puck down, it ended up rolling in on goal. And then Jacob Shaw reached out with that big old paw of his and held on to it. 19.3 to go here in the second period. On the face-off, Misfits will control it, thrown out to the blue line, Edwards. Wrap it in behind, deflects off the stick of Vargas, cleared out of there by Lexington and out to center ice. Maybe time for one more shot. Edwards will spin back. And we get an offside call as the period comes to a close. Will we do one more puck drop? Looks like we will. Put about a second back on the clock. There we go, drop that puck. And officially, second period comes to a close. So, a 4-goal second period for the Chicago Misfits, thanks to SG Arena. Here in downtown Chicago, it's a 5-2 Chicago Misfits lead through 40 minutes of play. And it was quite the second period. We'll give you all the stats and exactly who got what at our first stoppage. But the Misfits, after being tied 1-1 after the first period, had some trouble finding a way to get the puck into the back of the net. Exploded in that second. We're starting to see the energy levels on that Lexington bench deplete further and further and further. We'll see exactly how much they've got left in the tank here in the third period. Good forecheck by D'Amico. He gets taken down to the ice. There's been 3 penalties in the game, each one of them going to the Misfits. We'll also keep an eye on whether or not that changes and the Misfits find themselves on a power play for the first time in the game. Knocked down by Bastian, but taken away. Barnitz goes off the crossbar and in. Sam Barnitz went off the underside of the crossbar, and it looked like it went directly down onto the ice and might have hit off the inside of the pad of Borgard and rolled over the goal line, barely over the goal line, but just a minute and 8 seconds. Into the period. It's going to be Barnitz from Bartucci. There's a stop in tight. So Barnitz getting that goal from Bartucci and from Gabe D'Amico. And as I mentioned, Sam Barnitz has some experience overseas playing hockey, so talent level is certainly there, and he and specifically Gabe D'Amico have been providing a lot of the offensive chances for the Lexington Nightfall in this hockey game, and finally Barnitz gets on the scoreboard. Picked up here by Tony Woodward. He'll snap one towards the net. Bounces hard off the boards and thrown on goal there by Cooper Kaysen. Ready there was Borgard with the paddle down. Banked hard off the boards and all the way down. We'll get an icing call here on the Misfits. 17:51 left to go here in the third period. So in that second period, a minute and a half in, it was opened up with scoring by Tony Klanowski from the goal line, snuck one home. That gave Chicago the lead for a very short time, because just 30 seconds later, Lexington came right back down. Tony Woodward tied it up at 2. Misfits would get right back on the board with Scott Vargas's goal at the 16-14 mark with assists from Ryan Devlantes and Jason Micaloon, who Micaloon has been absolutely snake-bitten in this hockey game, has had plenty of chances to score, but has been robbed each time by Jacob Shaw. But he gets on the score sheet there in the assist column. Just 2 minutes after that, Andrew Vanek is able to put one home with assists from Tony Klanowski and Brock Alvers. And to wrap it all up in that period, Bo Borowski picking up a goal. Just squeaked it through the legs of Jacob Shaw enough to get over the goal line. Assist there coming from Vargas and from Nick Ustaski. So a 5-3 lead now for the Misfits with that early goal from Sam Barnitz. Here comes Lombardi driving in, trying to sneak that one home short side. Down there was Shaw. And he'll hang on to it long enough for a whistle with exactly 3 minutes gone here in the third. Strange how a lead can feel so much less comfortable when you go from a 3-goal lead to a 2-goal lead. Sure, the Misfits would love to have the next one here and quickly to get that cushion back, that 3-goal lead. They battle for it along the wall. Shell had it stripped away from him by Barnitz, who whiffed on the pass. Taken right back, though, by the Misfits. Offsides. Right on the line there was the linesman. We do have a 4-man crew today. He was right in perfect position. Called that one down for an offside, so we'll have a face-off in the neutral zone. Big line for Lexington with Barnitz, D'Amico, and now they've got Eric Woodward on that opposite side. Typically they've got Giovanni Lanera on that opposite side. Here's D'Amico putting it out to the blue line. There's Mills, the shot redirected wide of the net. Chipped off the wall there by McGowan, but couldn't get it out. D'Amico for Lexington will leave it off for Barnett. Barnett spinning away from Vilcek, will backhand it out to the point. Mills looking across, there's Molitor, couldn't get it through, comes right back to him, fires it up off the glass. Wrapped around the wall, out to the blue line it goes. Down low, D'Amico. It's hit along the wall there by Borowski. Barnett. And it's stripped away from him. Clearing an attempt taken down was Edwards, and finally we're getting the first penalty of the game against Lexington. It's going to come with 15:48 left to go here in the third period. And it's going to be D'Amico sitting down for 2 minutes. He'll get the gate for tripping, so the first power play of the game for the Misfits. Let's see if the Misfits now can take advantage of an opportunity on the power play. The Nightfall are 0 for 3 on their chances. Misfits will win the draw. Ustaski at the blue line. Plays catch with Mickaloon. Back up top, Ustaski, the shot. Save made by Shaw. He really had to pin that one to the ice and make sure he didn't move. Otherwise, that one might have squeaked underneath him and gone into the back of the net. Misfits win another draw. Ustaski at the blue line. Leaves it off to Devlantes. Cross ice pass right onto the tape of Mickaloon. The shot. Glove save. Oh no, he scored! Pardon me, Mickaloon rips that one home. I thought maybe it was in the glove of Shaw. But Mickaloon finally is able to beat the goaltender, and with 15:25 left to go in the period, it's 6-3 in favor of the Misfits. Well, I mentioned Mickaloon. Absolutely snake bitten in this hockey game, rips that one home. Once again, the Misfits have a 3-goal lead. Wrapped around the boards, goes out to the blue line, Vargas. Down low, the backhander from Devlantes gets blocked on the way through, clearing attempt held in, Baston at the point. He'll fire one into the glove of Shaw. He'll hang on to it with 14:52 to play in the third period. Tonight's game is brought to you by Indestructo Rental Company, Chicagoland's go-to for tent rentals, event setups, and everything you need to host the perfect party. From backyard events to full-scale festivals, they've got you covered. It's Indestructo Rental Company. There's a redirect in front. Oh, good save there in tight by Shaw, as that one was redirected on the way through. Getting a stick on that. Andrew Vanek looking for number 2 today. Shot from in tight, they score! Oh, Barnett's again. Sam Barnett's from the goal line, able to sneak that one home in behind Jim Borgard. And Lexington gets back to that 2-goal deficit. Both of the goals in this period for Lexington coming from Sam Barnett. Sam Barnett's 1 goal away from a hat trick, has been brilliant here in this third period. He's been brilliant all hockey game, but finally starting to see some results here in the third as this one deflects. Borowski will control in his own end. Chipped up the wall. Barnett's there, putting it back to the blue line. Jeremy Austin will push it up the wall. Now Barnett's having some word with Caden Edwards after a collision here in the neutral zone. Moved up ahead for Barnett's. He settles it down. The pass out in front. He had D'Amico. Couldn't get it to him. Second try there from D'Amico, deflecting off of Edwards. And that goes out of play. 13:39 to go here in the third. 6-4 in favor of the Misfits. And things have certainly opened up here in this third period on both sides. You saw the Misfits there in the second period. Between the 18-minute mark and the 11-minute mark, put 4 goals up on the board. And now the Nightfall trying to return the favor. This one gets sent out through the neutral zone. Chasing after it was Alvers, couldn't get it to settle down. Now the Nightfall will go up off the glass and out. This one going all the way down. This one should go for an icing, and it does. We'll get a whistle stopping play with 13:16 on the clock. New line coming out here for the Misfits. Some fresh legs, and Alex Schell, Mitchell Schell, and Dave Lombardi. They'll keep Ustaski and Waghorn on the back end. Taken by Lombardi and behind the net off the faceoff win. Lombardi pulling up. His wrist shot goes off the stick of Shaw and out the other side. Picked up now by Waghorn, pinching in. Into the corner it goes. Mitchell Schell out to the blue line. Picked up there by Alex. He couldn't get it in deep. Taken right back. Here comes D'Amico. Cutting to the middle of the ice. D'Amico holding. Drags. Throwing it on goal. He scores! And just like that, Lexington has cut the lead to now 6-5. What a goal that was. Brilliant patience from Gabe D'Amico. He picks up his second goal of the game. And with 12:46 on the clock, it's a 1-goal game. D'Amico from Barnett's has cut this to a 6-5 Misfits lead with just under 12.5 left to go in the third period. And Lexington has found some extra life. Looked as if they might have been dead in the water there in that second period, but they are alive and well here in the third. They'll go around the horn here out to the opposite side. Sandler. And behind the net, that pass out in front, deflected off of a shin pad and taken away by Chicago. They'll lead the rush. Here's Sean McGowan. Trying to go in between the skates and kick it to his stick, but that puck got caught up on his skate blade and took him out. Held in at the blue line by Devlantes. He gets sent to the deck. 2-on-2, they come back the other way. Woodward, Tony Woodward will pull up. His cross-ice pass, hoping to hit Mills. Out of his reach. Chipped out of there by Ustaski. He gets the return pass over the line, firing from long range. Gobbled up there by Jacob Shaw on the chest. Now we get some pushing and shoving in front of the net as Ustaski now getting into it. I believe that's Eric Molitor he's getting into it with. No, it's Sandler, pardon me, 23, not 13. That is 5'5" going up against 6'3". Not entirely sure that's the route you want to go, but love the energy. Face-off win for the Misfits, goes to the wall, push back out to Ustaski at the point. His floating shot was hoping to get a tip from Vargas. Never made it through to the goal. Now Vargas has it once more. His snapshot blocked down by Declan Keegan. Goes back to Devlantes. His pass to the middle of the ice. Mikulun was hit. Wrapped around the wall. Mikulun chasing after it. Cut off by Bartucci. He can't clear still. Good pressure from the Misfits. Wrist shot in tight from Vargas. Ripped it wide. Up top, Borowski. Fakes a shot. Goes to his partner, Ustaski. Backhands it down low. Vargas there. And behind. Devlantes back to Vargas. Bouncing puck. Couldn't get it to settle. Goes to Ustaski at the point. Wrister bounces over the net. Mikulun will grab. Curling. Looking at his options. Mikulun spinning away from a check. Comes up top. Still holding on to it. Goes cross ice for Waghorn. That was at his feet. Waghorn has to double back and make sure that this doesn't turn into an odd man rush back the other way. Turnover in the neutral zone. Here's Vargas. He'll hold in the middle of the ice. A shot off the post. Oh! Shot from Devlantes. Deflected off of Shaw. Ramped off his stick and rang off the iron. Now Baston trying to come in over the line. He does so offsides. 10:01 left to go here in the third period. 6-5 in favor of the Misfits. Tonight's game also brought to you by our sponsor, the Barn Hockey Bar, a one-of-a-kind hockey bar just steps from the United Center and Blackhawks Ice Center, packed with memorabilia, 60-plus televisions, and unbeatable game day vibes. Head on over to the barn following this game for good food, beer, more hockey, and to keep the energy going as Lexington with a couple of chances. That one, last one, deflecting up and out of play. So a couple good shifts in a row for the Misfits. Down at the other end, answered with a real good shift from Lexington. Draw to the left of Jim Borgard. Misfits winning the draw. It's an area where they've been very good today, the Misfits. There's a lot of them, but specifically the faceoffs. There's a wrist shot deflected. Woodward let it go. In front was Barnett's. That was stopped by Borgard. Pushed up ahead. Going is Alvers. He'll pick it up. Looking to the middle of the ice. He had Andrew Vanek driving. That pass a little out of his reach. With the face-off circle, it seems like the Misfits are winning pretty much every single face-off there is in all zones. Offensive zone, defensive zone, neutral zone. They're pretty much winning it clean. There's a slap shot. They score! Tie hockey game. A clapper from Gabe D'Amico picks up the hat trick. On the turnover at the blue line, D'Amico let that one fly, and he rips it up over the glove of Jim Borgard. We're tied at 6. All right, so tie hockey game. Mitchell Shell leaving it off. That pass to Flex goes back to Shell in the corner. Couldn't get it out in front. Out to the blue line, Caden Edwards. Puts it to an open side. Bouncing puck, a shot from in tight there from Lombardi. Might have caught the crossbar and ends up deflecting well out of play with 8:33 on the clock. Draw stays inside the Lexington zone to the right-hand side of Jacob Shaw. Another face-off win there from the Misfits, and they're going to get called for a penalty. And maybe there's 2 here getting called for sure. There's going to be a call from inside the zone. One of the Lexington players got their stick slashed out of their hands. Yeah, there's going to be 2 penalties on one play here. So a 5-on-3 for Lexington coming up.
Chicago penalty number 90,
Penalty's going to Mitchell Shell. He gets the original call, slashing, and then the second one, Caden Edwards, gets a tripping call. And the Misfits, a huge 5-on-3 kill here with Lexington having all the momentum, although they are 0 for 3 on their power play opportunities today. This one a glorious one. A two-man advantage for a full 2 minutes. Pass across, coming back up top. Barnett's the shot. Tip, they score! Barnett's the shot from the blue line, deflected on the way through. I'm not sure if Barnett's is going to get the goal. Looks like he is. But in any case, an early power play tally with 1.5 minutes left to go. First penalty comes out of the box. It's a 5-on-4 now. With Caden Edwards still in the penalty box. And for the first time since the 5:36 mark of the first period, Lexington has the lead. Well, Barnett's and D'Amico both with hat tricks in tonight's game, making up 6 of the 7 goals that Lexington has scored in the hockey game. They have been dynamic for the Nightfall. So it's picked up by Waghorn. He'll skate it out to center ice, breaking free from one check. Lost it to Barnett, who starts it right back up again. Sam Barnett's 3-on-3. Stood up at the blue line. Wrist shot in tight. That's stopped by Borgard. He'll hold on to it. 7:09 to go in the third. 40 seconds left to go on the Misfits penalty kill. And it looks like a timeout being called. I believe this timeout is going to go to the Nightfall. So they will try to set up something with the final 40 seconds left to go on this power play. Trying to keep that unit out there. It's been pretty much the exact same unit out there for the full 2 minutes. So this is more or less to get these guys an extra break for Lexington. Have a little bit more juice. For the final 40 seconds of this Lexington power play. Misfits will go with Nick Baston, Nick Ustaski, LJ Semeka. Taking the draw there was Dave Lombardi. Try to finish out this penalty kill. Picked up by Eric Woodward. He'll go to the blue line. D'Amico back to Woodward at the wall. Woodward walking to the middle, shoots. Borgard got just enough of it to knock that one wide. It might have gone off his chest and then the post. Cleared out of trouble by the Misfits. 15 seconds left to go on the penalty. Time for one more rush for Lexington. Around to check. Eric Woodward. Pinned to the corner, Semeka. Back up top, long snapper, redirected on net. Borgard making the save. A lot of traffic in front, 2 blue bodies and 2 red bodies right as the penalty expires. So both teams are now back at full strength with 6:28 to go here in period number 3. And the Misfits now find themselves with their backs against the wall. There's a point where they led this game 5-2 and 6-3, and they now trail it 7-6. Here's a pass out in front. Good diving play on the back check there by Menegado. Denying a chance. Here's Mickaloon. He'll come out to the blue line. Nick Bastion's shot. That deflects wide. Mickaloon from in behind the net will hold it. Come out the opposite side. Comes back out to the blue line. That pass deflects. Ustaski's shot blocked into the corner. Delvante's there. Will grab it. Pass out to the slot for Vargas. Couldn't get enough wood on that to throw it on net. Devlantes to Ustaski. Ripper. That gets blocked by Menegado and clear. Cross ice pass deflects off of a stick. Vargas wins that battle. Pass out to the middle of the ice. Waiting there, Mikaloon. Couldn't forward it on net. Picked up here by Devlantes. He'll go across. Alvers, wrister. That stopped by Shaw. Alvers out to the blue line. Devlantes. His floating shot was hoping to get a redirect in front. He had Vanek there, but it sailed wide. There's Bo Borowski. His wrister blockered out of there by Shaw. Picked back up by Alvers. Into the corner. Walking up the wall there, Vanek. Turnaround shot deflected off of a stick into an open corner. Pass out to the slot. Cleared out of there by the Nightfall and out to center ice. 4.5 to go in the third. Around a check there is Edwards. He'll chip and chase. Edwards goes barreling into the corner, wins that board battle over Matt Pakala. Another good shift here for the Misfits inside the Nightfall zone. Have not been able to come up with a tying goal though. Caden Edwards in the neutral zone. Will enter Nightfall territory. Man goes down, takes a shot off the stick and out of play. 4:06 left to play in the third period. Misfits trailing by 1. It's been a 5-goal third period for the Lexington Nightfall. They've scored the last 4 here in the third. They've answered a 4-goal second from the Misfits with 5 of their own here in the third period. Misfits have 4 minutes to try to tie. There's a tip out in front by Lombardi. Hits Shaw and goes wide. Back to Lombardi in the slot. They score! There it is! Dave Lombardi from the hash marks. Able to fire that one just in between the legs of Jacob Shaw. We're tied. What a third period we've had here. We are tied at 7 as Barnett takes this one away. Barnett through the leg shot. That gets knocked away by a Beauregard. Back come the Misfits. Good back check by Lexington. That could have been an odd man rush, but Lexington had 4 blue jerseys back. And behind the Nightfall net. Sent around the boards by Bartucci and cleared out into Misfits territory. Lombardi, who just got that game-tying goal. Now gets redirected into the Nightfall end. Bartucci and Devlantes go barreling after it. Pulled out of there by Eric Woodward. Couldn't clear it out. A snapshot deflects wide. Devlantes there. Centering feed deflects. Carried on by Gabe D'Amico. Trying to use the net as a bit of a screen against Scott Vargas. Got enough of separation to get that pass across, and it's outletted out to center. Zach Bartucci along wrister, knocked away by Beauregard. To an open side, a snapper there from Keegan. Knocked aside. Keegan gets it again in the slot. Nearly lost balance, had it stripped by Devlantes, and he's back the other way 3-on-3. Devlantes, the backhand pass from Mikaloon. He chases it down in behind. Devlantes there to help. Around a check, Devlantes looking to the middle, finds a man open. Waghorn, the shot blocked on the way through. Devlantes to the slot, they score! Perfect pass by Devlantes. right onto the tape. Brock Albers. 8-7. Misfits. Got just enough of it to beat the goaltender under the arm. And they grab the 8-7 lead with 2:08 to go here in period 3. Lexington looking to answer. Here's Kaysen. He gets knocked to the deck there by Klenowski. Klenowski moving it forward. Backhand pass out of the stick of Albers. Looking for more. Open up, they score! Perfect pass to Caden Edwards. 9-7. What a play by Brock Albers. Sold the shot all the way. Got the goaltender to commit, moved it on over to Caden Edwards, who had a wide open cage to put it home. 9-7 with a minute and a half left to play in the third. Turnover here in the neutral zone. Sean McGowan gumming things up. Taken right back by Bartucci. He stopped just inside the Misfits end. Taken by Edwards. He'll pull up just inside the blue line. Edwards, that cross ice pass knocked down out of midair. And outletted up ahead for Tony Woodward. 1-on-3. Stick check there by Edwards just inside the blue line. Empty net to our left. Wide open net, iced by Timmy Vilcek. Seven. So the Misfits, with under a minute to go, are on their way to picking up their very first victory inside USG Arena. There's a pass out in front, knocked away. 3-on-3 we go. Over the line, Eric Woodward. We'll leave it off to Barnett as behind the play. There's some shenaniganery. Back inside the Misfit end, backhand pass out in front from Eric Woodward. Bounces through the slot, picked up by the Misfits. They'll flip it out to center ice. Let the clock wind down. Misfits win. (10-7) is your final score. Ball. And it looked like maybe the Misfits were going to drop this one with about 3 minutes left or 4 minutes left to go, and then they scored 4 goals in the final 3 minutes and 1 second of the game. The game winner coming off the stick of Brock Albers. And the Misfits pick up their first victory inside USG Arena. A 10-7 win over the Lexington Nightfall. The Nightfall lose both of their games from this past weekend. Misfits get the big win after dropping one on home ice last week, 7-4 against the Kenosha Knights. Big thank you for everyone for tuning in to tonight's game. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast. We know you enjoyed the outcome. Big thanks for everyone behind the scenes making this all possible. The cameraman, Butch Connolly. Our DJ, Johnny. Scorekeeper was Kate Herron. Our PA announcer, Jason Stavanovich. Media manager, Colleen Muldowney. My name's Andy Petzinger. Enjoy the victory, 10-7 Misfits here at USG Arena. We'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.